Welcome to How to Stay Motivated, a workshop brought to you by the Tomás Rivera Center's Academic Success Coaching Program at the University of Texas at San Antonio. So on the agenda for today, we will discuss intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, also locus of control, then reflect on what motivates you, share how building better habits can help you stay motivated, discuss the habit loop, and finally create your own plan to build better habits. Before we jump into the workshop, I did want to take a moment to share with everyone where you can find the handouts that we'll be referencing in the workshop today. So if you could visit the Tomás Rivera Center webpage. Next, look for the Academic Success Coaching tab, hover over it, and then click on TRC Resources. This will bring you to the TRC Resources page. Next, look for Motivation and Stress Management. Our two handouts can be found here, Motivation Inventory and Motivation Habit Loop Activity. If you'd like, pause the workshop and take a moment to print these out. If not, grab a pen and a paper and you can use that as well to follow along. Okay, let's be honest. Who has felt like this before? I like this image because I feel it's relatable. We've all been there before with regards to feeling like the wording says at the bottom, I can't seem to do anything right now. Emphasis on anything. When we have that low to no motivation, it's really fighting that uphill battle to get things done. For whatever reason, we can't connect with that motivation. We don't want to do these things. And we can be at a loss for what to do next so that we can get back on track. So let's talk motivation. According to Oxford Dictionary, motivation is defined as the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. And as you've discussed motivation, possibly in a class, or if you've even done your own research, you've most likely come across intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. And so again, it really just encompasses why we do what we do. And so on the left-hand side of the infograph, on the green part of it, you'll see intrinsic motivation. And so this really supports you doing a task for the sheer enjoyment and maybe the genuine interest that you have in that task itself. And so you may also feel that this fulfills a purpose for you. Maybe you've got a genuine curiosity. Maybe this is a passion area of yours. And so that's why you're actually doing this task, right? You've got that intrinsic motivation. On the right-hand side in the blue, this is extrinsic motivation. And so this explains why you do what you do because of the outcome that will result by actually doing the task. So again, the focus here is the outcome. In essence, thinking of it in a way of, well, what's in it for me? What do I get out of doing this task? And so it could be related to work. Perhaps you're going to get a bonus or maybe some type of a benefit, maybe a perk, right? It's kind of, again, that mentality of what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this? And so as we kind of think, we can see extrinsic and intrinsic motivation play out in working out. And so this, I think, is just a great example. On the left-hand side, you will see this furry creature that's on this pull-up bar trying to get a bite of this donut. And so this is a great image, I feel, of extrinsic motivation. We may not always want to work out, and so we feel like we need some type of a reward. We need to see something tangible. We want to get a prize, some type of a perk to working out. And so if you think about it, let's say you start out on this whole wellness journey, this workout journey, and you find out that you don't really like doing pull-ups. You want to try something different. So you decide to ride your bicycle. The more you do it, you find that you're getting stronger. You're able to ride your bike for longer distances. It might give you an opportunity to clear your head when you're riding your bike. You might enjoy the scenery. It might be a great way to relieve any stress that you're experiencing. So then you start to find out that you actually enjoy this activity. So you, in a sense, have been able to make the shift from extrinsic to intrinsic motivation. And so the image on the right is that celebration or maybe that joy that you do feel when you feel that intrinsic motivation. It's no longer, a chore, right? You're not looking for the quick, what am I going to get out of it? You are able to connect with the enjoyment of that task. You feel that personal growth, that that you're able to see how far you've come in this task, where at first you were not so motivated. You had to really rely on that extrinsic motivation for you to do that task. However, you were able to find a new activity still related in the same arena of wellness, and you were able to feel that intrinsic motivation, and you're celebrating it. So that's a great thing. All right, so let's talk locus of control. And so if you'd like, go ahead and take a pause on the workshop presentation and visit the link at the bottom. There's a really great video, it's about 5 minutes long, that really breaks down locus of control, and it's a really great video clip. And so like I said, if you'd like, go ahead and pause the presentation, open another tab, and watch this video. You can honestly probably stop it right at 4 minutes and 55 seconds. And so go ahead and do that now if you'd like. But if not, we can keep on chatting and rolling with the workshop. So locus of control is another way to think about motivation. And so in this image here, on the left, we've got the internal locus of control. And so this is thinking about your situation, kind of what you have in your control as you are the one that can make things happen. You feel empowered. You feel that you can determine your future, and it's kind of like that, look at what I can do, look at what is possible because of me type of perspective. On the right, you will see an external locus of control. And so as you can see, this differs from the first image. The first image has the arrows pointing away from the person, and in the second image, you've got the arrows pointing to the person. And so this frame of thought is more of a, why does everything happen to me? There's nothing I can do about my future. Why bother? And so with that external locus of control, you're not going to feel motivated. Your motivation is going to be non-existent or very low. And so this can easily play itself out in academics. If you think about that one course that's really challenging for you, you may be caught in that external locus of control frame of mind. You may think, the world is against me. My professor just doesn't, teach that material well. So, how am I going to learn it? That's not the best way for me to learn. I went to tutoring once, but had a bad experience or a poor experience. And so I don't want to return to that. And I don't have time to go to any type of a review session. And so with all of those factors almost kind of happening to you, then it's easy for you to get to that, well, why bother? Why put any effort into it type of a perspective? And understanding that, again, that's not going to help you feel motivated to make a change. So how can you challenge yourself to, when you recognize that you are feeling that external locus of control, how can you again challenge yourself to shift gears and find that internal locus of control? Understanding that, okay, you may not be able to change your professor's style of teaching. However, how can you still get help from them? How can they still be a resource to you? How can you use other campus resources that are available to you? Perhaps you didn't have the best experience from your first time at tutoring. Try to go again. Maybe you'll have a different tutor, or maybe you weren't having a good day, or you were in kind of that negative mood. Kind of placing limits on yourself, thinking, I'm not good at this material, so I'm just not going to, be able to get a good grade. So again, challenging yourself to shift that perspective to more of that internal locus of control, understanding what you do have control over, and then creating action steps so that you can plan to move forward. All right. So this is the first handout that we're going to review. And so this is the motivation inventory. So let's take a moment to reflect. We don't always take the time to make meaning of our actions and really think about why we do the things that we do. So again, if you were able to print off the handout, that's awesome. If not, just grab a piece of paper and a writing utensil. A couple of questions. So here we have our reflection questions. So the first one is, do you get intimidated and discouraged by large goals? If so, what happens as a result? So take just a brief moment to think about that and jot down your thoughts. If this applies to you, then um, think about ways that you can break down those larger goals into smaller goals. We often meet with students at the beginning of the semester and they want to do some goal setting to help them stay on track and feel motivated in the semester. And so one of the common goals that we hear from students is that they want to achieve that 4.0 by the end of the semester. So that is a lofty goal. That can be a challenging goal. It's absolutely possible. However, some may lose steam or may not stay on track with their goal because it is that large, lofty goal. They haven't really thought about, okay, what do I want to do every day so that I am able to work towards achieving this goal? And so again, breaking it down into smaller bits. Perhaps you want to make an A on that first exam. Think about, again, those smaller action steps that you can take. So maybe you come up with, I want to attend all classes. I want to review my notes right after class or within 24 hours, and I want to attend SI sessions. Okay, that's a great way for you to break down that larger goal into smaller steps that you know you can do week to week that will help you move towards achieving that larger goal at the end of the semester. So again, really take a moment to try to break down that large goal into more of action steps so you know what to do and how you're going to get there. Next question, do you have a role model that you can get inspired and motivated by? If so, who is it and how does this help you? So if you do have that role model or that mentor, that is wonderful. And that's a great person that you can go to whenever you do need to feel motivated or inspired. This person is a role model to you, a mentor in some light, and whether it is career or life, spiritual, whatever type of a avenue that you want to improve in your life, that person can be someone that can share their own experience, lessons learned. They can also even maybe help you create a network that can still support you through whatever you're going through. And so if you don't have that person in your life, then take a moment to think about who could possibly be that role model and that mentor. And if you identify someone, then take that next step and ask them if they're interested in being being your mentor. See if they've got time to meet with you. Perhaps you'd like to meet with them, check in with them once a month. Again, this person can really serve as that cheerleader to you. Sometimes you just need a pep talk. And so this is a great person that if they've been there and done that, and again, whatever type of arena that you're hoping to get that motivation and inspiration in, then who better than to have someone that's been through it that can, again, share their journey with you and continue to help motivate you. Next question, do you think about how difficult something is to achieve rather than the benefits of achieving it? How does this affect your productivity? And so as you think about that, try to focus on how you can look at a new task, not with the automatic kind of knee-jerk reaction of, oh, this is really challenging. This is going to take a lot of time, and I don't see the benefit. I don't see how this is going to serve me in the future, right? Okay, so instead of looking at it from that lens, first and foremost, take a pause, step back, and then try to look at the situation from a new lens and really focusing on the positive. So thinking about, okay, what are the benefits of achieving this? Okay, it may be a difficult task. However, I am going to improve or strengthen a skill. I may be learning more of a topic area that's going to serve me in my career, in my professional professional first job position. So again, try to look at the benefits to it. Or, this is going to be challenging. I'm not going to like it, but I'm going to power through it and I'm going to get it done. And I'm going to feel that much more confident and competent once I achieve this task. So again, really trying to promote that positivity as you encounter a new task instead of looking at the negative. This is a great quote. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. And so this is a great segue as we now talk more about habit. All right, with understanding habits, habits are awesome. If you think about it, you've got so many little daily habits that you perform. Think about it. In the morning, you may have some type of a routine that you normally do with brushing your teeth or any other personal hygiene, getting ready, listening to music, right? You maybe have some type of a routine that you follow, and it can just be a habit. You've done this so many times, it's what you do. Your brain is able to conserve energy and still maintain that productivity. But in essence, it almost kind of goes into autopilot because you do these things so often that you do it without thinking about it. So it's really kind of a cool thing about habit. And so this is the next handout that we're going to refer to, and that's the habit loop activity. All right, so the habit loop activity. So in part one, it's all about really understanding the habits. And so in the first part, it's kind of a three-step process to the habit loop. And so in the first step is the cue. It's the trigger that initiates the behavior. Next is the routine, the action that you take as a result of that cue. And then the reward, the benefit that you gain from doing the behavior. And so to the right, you'll see this example. And so the cue is that your cell phone beeps or buzzes. Next, the routine is that you open an email from your professor. The reward is that you find out you received an A on a project. And so because of this, this is your habit that you have. Each time that your cell phone beeps or buzzes, gives you that alert or notification, you go to check that phone. So in part two, take a moment to define a personal example of this. Think of a habit that you have and break it down into which part is the cue, which is your routine, and what is the reward. Okay? And so once you have that broken down, then take it a step further. Think about, when did this behavior begin? Can you pinpoint when it did begin? And then also, does it continue to benefit you? All right? Are you interested in changing this habit? Yes or no? And if you are, in the next next slide, we'll go ahead and talk more about that. All right, so if you are interested in changing that habit, then this is a great time to experiment with different routines. And so typically the routine component of the cycle is what's problematic about the habit. And so what's really great is that research shows that replacing your original routine with another routine can allow for your behavior to change. So that's what's really cool about it. The routine, again, is what we want to change up. And so if we're thinking about the previous example, instead of checking my phone immediately after it rings, I can put it back in my bag and ask my friend a question about their day. So again, the thing that we're trying to stop is constantly checking that phone. And so take a moment to brainstorm with your own personal example, other alternative routines that you could go ahead and incorporate into your habits so that you are able to make the change. So take a moment to go ahead and jot down those three. So now we've arrived at part 4, which is creating a plan. In the previous slide, you brainstormed 3 alternative routines. Now you have a chance to think of which is the best of those 3 and which will redefine your habit loop. So now go ahead and pick up which one you are most excited about, maybe the one that you feel you can make that commitment to, and jot down your cue, and then next that new routine, and lastly the reward. With any type of a new habit, any type of a change that you're going to endure, give yourself a little bit of grace. Be patient with yourself. Know that it can be difficult to make that change. However, it's not impossible. Each day is an opportunity to start again. And so if you do have a misstep, that's okay. Tomorrow is another day and another chance for you to try all over again. Part of the support that goes into any type of a change is looking at folks around you that can help you in your journey. And so take a moment to think about who you could possibly go to for that support, whether it's a family member, a roommate, a friend, a partner. Perhaps that person has also gone through the same change with habit. They can offer you tips and tricks, or maybe they're interested in changing that habit alongside with you. They can help hold you accountable as well. So really look to that support and know that you're not alone in this. Also, identify benefits of making this change. What there was something in you that really called for you to make this change, to think about this isn't a good habit. It's not serving me anymore. Perhaps maybe you didn't see a lot of the benefits. So now think about what are the benefits that you're going to see from making this change, and go ahead and jot those down. It's kind of nice to reconnect with what those benefits are as a way to still keep you motivated in making that change. So that is all the time that we have for today. I appreciate your participation and hope that you found the information shared in this workshop is valuable. Next time you're struggling with your motivation, take a moment to think about where you are with your motivation. Given the task ahead of you, are you more extrinsically or intrinsically motivated? And then beyond that, if you are really feeling that low to no motivation, take a step back and reevaluate, where are you? Are you feeling more of a locus of control, whether it's that internal or external? And how can you shift so that you do feel more empowered by your situation, and looking to what aspects and components are you able to control so that you can move forward? Those habits are a great way to do that work, especially when it comes to academics. If you're not feeling motivated in a certain course, again, take a step back, think about what are some of the habits that I can put in place? What are the routines that I can replace so that I'm able to have that success? Again, I thank you for your participation. This is a QR code and a bit.ly link to our evaluation. We absolutely welcome feedback and look for ways for us to improve our workshop offerings. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your semester. This is our contact information. Again, we are Academic Success Coaching with Tomás Rivera Center. We do workshops and one-on-one academic coaching with students. Listed here is also our social media. Please follow us. This is a quick plug for our Expert Learner How-To series. These are 30-minute virtual workshops on Blackboard Collaborate. And what we do is we discuss different study skills. And so if you've got the time, please go ahead and tune in. We're happy to have your participation. So again, we are Academic Success Coaching. If you've not heard of our resource, we are staff members who meet with students virtually or by phone, by appointment for 50 minutes. We're able to work with students on any type of a study skill that they'd like to improve. This could be anything from textbook reading to time management to presentation skills to motivation. And we are able to provide that student with an individualized success plan. So if you'd like to set up an appointment, please do so by either calling the number listed here or by filling out the academic coaching request form at the bit.ly link. Academic peer coaching is a resource available to anyone that lived on campus during the 2019-2020 academic year. Academic peer coaches are resident assistants who've been trained in the same methods and skills as academic success coaches. However, it is more of that peer-to-peer coaching style. Again, we thank you for your participation and wish you the best in your semester.